Uh, okay. Um, I'm sorry I haven't been able to do my video clips, but I've been really busy with other projects of my profession, and that hasn't really allowed me to do these clips that help a lot of people, um, according to what they tell me. But today I want to talk about one main issue that I heard about it all the time, affecting relationships in general, not just romantic relationships, but also I'm talking about relationships with your siblings, relationship with your parents, relationship with your children, relationships with your friends, relationships with co-workers, with your boss, any type of relationship that you might have, even with your pets, I guess, that would be the issue of how we communicate. Um, According to what I know or what I believe, we have different types of communication. We have a passive way of communicating, we have an aggressive way of communicating, and we have an assertive way of communicating. Each one is different. And the passive is when we tend to just listen to the individual. We tend to go along with whatever is being said. We tend to avoid conflict. We tend to avoid having a discussion, and then we become resentive. We become resentive about um, the information that is being given to us, and but we also fail to inform the other person or the other entity about what we want from our end. Now we have the aggressive way. We have the aggressive when the individual demands that his or her way is the right way, that is not able to listen to the other person's position, is not able to listen to the other person's point of view, and they believe that the only way is his way or the highway, her way or the highway. And then we have the assertive communication, where there is an exchange of ideas, when we are able to give time to express our emotions, and we also able to give time to the other person to respond to what we have said. In the assertive way, both individuals are able to exchange. It's an exchange of information, and that information takes time to be processed in a cognitive processive center, and then we're able to come up with additional questions, additional comments, and through that negotiation process, we're able to arrive to a conclusion in which both entities depart the association or the relationship, or depart the moment feeling content with what happened and the outcome of that conversation. Um, Very often, people don't want to accept one way um, of communicating, especially if their way of communication is a faulty way of communicating. But since you are doing this by yourself and no one is telling you, I invite you to think about how you communicate. Do you communicate in general? Do you communicate in a passive manner? Do you communicate in an aggressive manner? Or do you communicate in an assertive manner, even though the information that you're receiving is not what you want to hear? So being able to be honest with yourself will be the first step towards moving into an assertive manner or assertive way to communicate with others. I invite you to take a moment and to think about arguments that you may have with important people in your life, and then to also to process about what happened, what took place, what it was said, what you said, and how that exchange of ideas, thoughts, and behaviors we communicate. Sometimes we just slam the door. That's a way, an aggressive way of communication. We might not use verbal communication. We might use behavioral communication, but it's also an aggressive way of communicating. Or sometimes we might just tune out the individual. We might become a passive way. We don't say anything, but it's a behavioral way of communicating. So I invite you to reflect on this, and hopefully this will help you to improve the way in which you communicate with others, and that when people come to you, they're happy, and then they left the space of this conversation in where both of you are winning in the way you communicate. Until the next time, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, respect yourself, demand to be respected, and treat yourself as you want to be treated by others. Okay? Take care.